So
no.
let's go to the reunion. Here's you asked me to there it is. You asked me to get prices for reunion stuff. Now I was just at our local Sam's Club yesterday, and here's the information that I got. As far as if we want to go with burgers, right now they're costing, as you can see, the price there. That's for 6 pounds or 18 patties. And there's the price of the rolls. And there's baked beans with brisket, and that's 40 ounces. And potato salad, cups, cutlery. That's a knife, fork, and spoon setup, 120 sets. And there's a whole bunch of different paper plates that we can use, but those are 2 examples. And there's some napkins, and don't know the price of a sugar cake if you want to get that. But those are some of the prices for at our local Sam's Club. So that's one of the things. Any questions, any comments that y'all want to make about that? Or
Well, it looks like you've made room to do this. Is there a way to find out? Obviously, the cutlery, the plates, the napkins, all would be good for up to like 100 plus people. But what about, and the cups too. But can we figure out in 50 people increments how many burgers and the cost of that, how many rolls, and I don't have any idea how much the average person eats in potato salad and beans.
So in other words, you want it divided down for 50 people or less?
Well, like if we can figure out the cost of like 50 people getting burgers, 50 people needing rolls and stuff, and so that we're in 50 people increments, so that like we could see how much this would possibly cost for 50 people.
First of all, you got to realize if you're going to do something at Sam's Club, you're not going to be able to get only for 50 people or 30 people or whatever it is. That's just the way it's going to work, unless you go to a local store and that kind of a thing.
I guess what I'm saying is, because I can't get to my calculator, if they come in 18 patties, you have to times it by the appropriate amount of, because you can't do 2.5 or whatever, but you would do 3. Well, I can't get to my calculator.
I'm simply going to say that the bottom line is we still have no idea how many people are going to show up. So,
right.
And frankly, in my humble opinion, I don't think we're going to get more than about 30 people. Now, if you get more than that, that's great, and I'm excited about that. But even the last reunions that we had several years ago, we were only getting 30 people. Would that be right, Conrad? Oh, he's taken off.
No, I'm still here. I'm grabbing a pencil and paper, but yeah, that's about right. 30, 35 people.
Yeah. So.
But I think we should plan for about 50 if we're going this route, and because that was the percentage of people that did participate, not percentage, but that was if every vote was for 2 people and only 2 people, we would have about 50 people. But that was only how many percent of all the people that potentially, like, those were only the people that voted. So I think some of the people said that they couldn't come or didn't know if they could go. So I think we're going to lose some people who said that they would do it, and we're going to gain some of the people out of the ones that said they didn't know yet. So say that's about average, and it averages itself out. But again, only, I don't know, was it like 20% of the people actually even voted?
I really have no idea what the numbers are.
But like, if we are going to go forward, we need to have like some kind of like, if we're doing burgers and hot dogs, if we're doing like a picnic like this, and we say, okay, it's going to be 50 people, it might be a little less, it might be more, but if we're going to estimate at 50, at least we can find out how much it would cost for 50 people. And then we can come across a price that we can talk about if we think it's too much or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like for, if we're doing 50 people at the burger price, then that would be $75. I was just rounding it up, for burgers. It would be,
Let me
Go ahead.
Google it and see if I can find some numbers real quick. I'll be back in a second.
okay.
Well, let me throw in the hot dogs while we're at it.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
they-
did you get a price?
Yeah, they're $8.98 for a 24 pack. So for 50 people, 48 would probably break
Yes.
even there. So that's
Yes.
$18 for the dogs and another $10 for the rolls. So, you're looking at
Yeah.
$30 total there.
Yes.
So that would work for 30 people,
Yes.
And not everybody's gonna want a dog or whatever.
Or a burger. So we could even just do 2 things of burgers instead of 3 to get it over 50 if we're doing the hot dogs too. So that would be $50.
Yeah. I mean, we're not looking at big bucks here, is what I'm getting at. But I mean, I guess my other question would be is, who are we sending these invitations to? Just
Well,
the
I would
people
say to send it
online?
to what? Sorry, Conrad?
Just to who's responded online, are we sending invitations to, or are we mailing out a mass mailing, or what are we thinking?
I would say that we would try to do both, that we would send it to everybody that we have an email address for, that we would electronically email them the invitation. But there's going to be some people that just aren't online, they're not on Facebook, or they don't notice what's on Facebook, and or we don't have an email address for them. So there's going to be some, at least initially this year, that we would be having to mail out the invitations to. So I would say, in my opinion, that we would try to send the invitations out to everyone that we can.
Yeah, my next question is, how are we going to do that? It's a mass undertaking,
Right.
to get all the envelopes and all that prepared,
Right.
mailed.
So, I mean, I have no problem doing that. I had started getting some addresses because Joanne had shared with me like the official address information that she had, but I think maybe Richard and Joanne have updated it a little bit since she shared it with me, and I know that I have been able to update it too, getting in touch with people on Facebook. So, but I would have no problem printing out the invitation and mailing it. I will even pay for postage, but I would like if I can get reimbursed for the postage. I don't really care about the envelopes. So I would be willing to do that. So what I would do, like if we were going to do that, is I would try my very, very best to get as many email addresses as possible so that I don't have, so many envelopes to send out. But I would be willing, I think this first year, we would have a lot of envelopes needing to go out. And then by next year, whether the people come or not, hopefully we'll have more email addresses and then there can be less and less postage spent on actual mailings.
Well, that's fine, but, like I said, we have to, as soon as possible, come up with a number, but it's, to establish a price to put in that mailing,
Exactly.
that, it's not going to be an exorbitant price because, as you can see, the prices aren't that much. So, and whatever it costs, I mean, even if I or whoever feels like it can pay some of it out of pocket, I mean, it isn't going to be that much to start with. So, but, I think we ought to at least get an initial mailing out there as soon as possible. I know it's only April, but,
So my question is, I love this thing, Richard. I love it. And I love this column that's over here on the right.
Okay, wait,
And
wait. Well, you said love this thing. What kind of a thing are we talking
sorry,
about?
your chart, whatever you're calling it.
Oh, okay.
I love it. And I love this column on the right. And what I'm thinking I would like to do it, like, if you can, because I see you're like editing it as you go along, to make the column on the right to be what would the cost be for about 50 people. So if we add up, if we figure out like we're going to get 36 patties, and then like that'll be $50. And then how many rolls we'll get, if there's 16 rolls, I would still just get 2. So that would be about $5. And we figure out how much it would be for 50 people approximately for all of these things. And then we divide it by 50, the total cost. Then we would have a figure of how much it would be per person if we had 50 people.
So you want an estimate based on 50 people?
Yes. Oh, Peter.
Well,
you did all the.
Okay, I was trying to get something that might show you, but it's not going to come up well. But I just Googled quickly and found that normally you need about 3/4 cup per person for potato salad. You need about a half cup of pasta salad if you were going to do pasta salad. And if you were going to have 60 people and you were going to do coleslaw alongside it, you need 12 pounds of cabbage and about 6 cups of dressing to go onto the coleslaw, to the raw cabbage to make it. So, it'll take a little research more to get the definitive answer, but they also talked about the fact that you need about a half a pound a person of either burgers or hot dogs per person. So we're talking, if we got 50 people, we need 25 pounds of burgers and hot dogs. So, you could do 18 pounds of the burgers and 6 pounds of hot dogs and get pretty close to what you wanted to do. And then just get enough rolls to take care of them.
Yeah, as we found out over the years, as our population was aging, like, they weren't eating as much food at these get-togethers. So, you know,
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, we've all hit our peak on the food consumption.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm also like, I really like how Richard has like the basic things that we need, and then Conrad added the prices for the hot dogs and the buns. I'm thinking that if we estimate it for 50 people of just this, then there's going to be somebody who like has the most amazing, coleslaw that they want to bring, and they'll bring maybe not enough for 50 people, but maybe 50 people don't want to try the coleslaw, or whatever. I was just using that as an example. So some of these things can be supplemented by people who live in the area who have a great recipe that they want to use.
So don't forget condiments,
Yeah.
like mustard and ketchup and relish or sauerkraut, whatever people like on their burgers and dogs. You need to
Yep.
have a cost factor there too.
So, Richard, you're the owner of this paper.
I can
How
share
do
with
you-
everybody.
Do you want to like put in the numbers, or like, I know Peter said how much coleslaw potato salad everybody uses.
I just went on to Google, and the eHow came up, and it had how to select how much you have to have for parties, and they said 3/4 cup of potato salad per person, a half a cup of pasta salad or some other salad, and so then there was a line about how much coleslaw to make for 60 people, and it came up with 12 pounds of cabbage and 6 cups of dressing. The 6 cups of dressing sounds like a lot to me, but maybe I'm just not thinking right.
Right.
It's a lot of cabbage, too.
37.5 cups.
It's a lot of cabbage. Yeah. and that
Let's
would
see. How many cups in a pound?
It
Depends
depends
what
on
it's
the,
a cup of.
yeah,
Because we would need, for 50 people, we need 37.5 cups of potato salad. And I'm not sure how to convert that into potato salad pounds. But that's also if every single person is going to have potato salad.
yeah.
And some people might not. Because I agree with Conrad that I think we should have at least an estimated price if we're gonna do this. I mean, I have no problem emailing people an estimated, like, if we know that we're going to have it, we just need to finalize the price. I have no problem emailing people, but I'm not going to send out a letter that's going to say we're planning this. I would wait until we know what we want to do and everybody has approved the invitation, because you guys have been doing the invitations for years and years and years, and you kind of know what needs to be on the invitation and stuff like that. So I think I don't mind making the invitation, but I would like it if somebody could share with me prior invitations so that I can make sure that I'm including everything that needs to be included. And then I can share it with everybody and you can tell me, oh, why don't you add this or that or whatever.
Well, first of all, in terms of the mailing list, Joe, are you listening? Okay. When was the last time that you're muted, Joe? When was the last time that we sent something out?
2011. I know that.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011 was, I think, the last time we sent anything out. And that was the year that we got very few responses and we wound up canceling and not having it at all.
How many, do you remember how many were on that mailing list?
350 some,
Really?
really.
Wow.
Now, the question is, this is 11 years since that's been used. How many of those people are now deceased or have moved?
Yeah, the question is how many people of those on that list are deceased? How many have moved? But we're not going to know until we're really not going to know until we send it out.
So that list she shared with me, and I've been updating it when I got in touch with people on Facebook. So my hope was to get it all done by now, and I would have to tell you that I am like maybe 30% done with it, maybe. Because what happened is, like, I found out that some people have passed away, but more people got added to the list. So now this list is over 400 because, like, people were like, oh yeah, there's me, but now there's my kids. So now their kids are on the list too. And all that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out addresses, email addresses, and mailing addresses for everybody that's on the Facebook site. And I have not been able to accomplish that. I would say that I have like maybe 50 email addresses. So there's still a good amount of people that probably are not at those addresses anymore. But I think that's what is going to kind of happen at least the first year. And I did share it with Joanne. Joanne, I did share it with you like a long time ago. It's a Google document, so I shared it with you, but that was a long time ago. So unless you accepted that document, you probably are not aware of it. And I would like to share it with Richard and share it with you again, Joanne.
Okay.
Just so you can see what I'm doing, and like if you see people on there that shouldn't be on there, you can have access to edit it as well.
Okay. I mean, I did try to take off before I even sent you the list. I did try to take off
Yes.
some people that I knew were deceased.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just going to be this first year, we're going to have to do a mailing, and it's going to be a lot of people, but that's fine. I don't mind, and we're going to get a lot of returns.
Right.
But that's
now,
fine.
okay. Here's the one thing though too. Whose mailing address do we make the return address?
That's a good question. I'm up for whatever.
Because I know when we did it, of course, the return address was my address, Richard and my address here in Lower Nazareth, Easton, Pennsylvania. And that was, I think, partly due because Mom was treasurer at the time. So if anybody sent monies in, it was the best thing to do was to have it to come here.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think if we're going ahead with this, that we need to decide who's collecting the money and who can deposit the money. And if to me, it would be somebody in Pennsylvania. So I think the return address should be somebody who can deposit the money, in Pennsylvania. So I don't know.
Doesn't the US, I know years ago they used to, I don't know if they still have it anymore. There used to be like a set of postcards that were one on top of the other, and you folded them and you put your message on, and the other postcard was the return postcard.
Oh.
And so that you could send out a quick postcard and just say, are you still alive? Do you still want to be a part of our group? Do you, and then they could rip that off and send that back in, and you get a response. I don't know if the post office still has those things anymore. But we're basically shooting BBs into the midnight sky. We don't know how many people we're talking about, and it just to give you an idea, I only have 32 names that the people have sent to me through Facebook. That's all that I have. And when I sent out the invitations for Zoom, I only have 32 names. I think it's what it is, 32 names, 31 or 32, something like that. So
I do have more people by email than you do, Richard.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. I like by email addresses, meaning,
Right.
but not like hundreds more. I would say I probably have about 50. So I have a few more than you do.
Okay.
But
So here's another good thought for you. When we would do mailings, that list I gave you, Donna, that I have a Microsoft Access database that I created that has all that information in. And when it came time to do a mailing, you would do the labels. I would have a report set up to do the labels. If you know, I'd hate to see you have to print or
that's not that's not going to be a problem for me, because I know about mail merge for Microsoft Office Word.
Oh, okay.
That's not going to be a problem for me. I do like Richard's idea, like if we have a way to send a precursor of the invitation, that might be nice, but at this stage of the game, it might be just advantageous to send one final invitation to all those addresses and, let the return envelopes commence. About, it's going to be like 100 at least of the wrong address. But at least we know that it's reaching certain people. And the way that I figure is if we estimate for 50 people, but we give ourselves enough time that if we know that it's going to wind up being closer to 100 people, then we know we just have to double everything. If it's going to be closer to 75 people, we know it's 1.5 of everything. So I don't think I think it'll be around 50 people at least, because even in the past, it was around 30 people. So, I mean, we might have a little extra, but we might not, because we were conservatively estimating 2 people for every vote. And it was about 50 people. If conservatively only 2 people came from the vote of saying that they were coming, that they'd come on July 30th.
Yeah, I'm looking at some numbers here as far as the grocery part of it. And if we're estimating 50 people roughly, I think the most money that we'd have to put out for food, even at the high end, would be $300, and on the outside, $350. If it's $300, that only amounts for 50 people to $6 a piece. You know what I mean? That doesn't really, the money is not a factor.
But also you have to figure in there, like, I don't know if you're estimating the dessert, because we don't have even an estimate on that, right, Richard?
That's correct.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm not,
I'm looking at, I'm adding in incidentals, and
Okay.
I include that in incidentals.
And also we'll have to add in the 250, it's 250, right, Joanne? To book the church, right? Is it
Yeah,
250?
roughly, like I said, I'll find out. I did talk to the church secretary. She does have us penciled in for that day. I just have to get the paperwork together and submit it, and we're good to go.
Okay, so we have to add that in, and we also have to add in the price or not, if it's been added in already, Conrad, like postage.
Yeah.
I will pay for paper. If it's regular paper, and the ink, I will pay for ink, printing, postage, paper, ink, envelopes, and I will buy the postage, but I would like to get the money back on the postage because that will be a pretty penny.
So even calculating some of that in, I'm looking at $500 in postage and combined and all
Yeah.
that stuff. We're still only looking at a cost $10 a person,
Yeah.
and that would, if there's incidentals, it wouldn't be much, you know what I'm saying? So if we come up with a mailing, even if, we ask for $15 a head, we're probably well ahead of what we really need. So if you can get a list together, just put that number in, and if it exceeds, whatever, we just have to adjust later, that's all.
Yeah.
But I think we got to get something out there so we have an idea if this is even worth doing.
Well, oh, go ahead, Richard. I
No,
think
no,
you were going to ask kind of the same question maybe that I'm thinking.
go ahead. Please
Like
go ahead.
Okay, my question is just like, well, once we send out that invitation, it's a go, because like we can't back out unless, the only way we could back out is if nobody's really coming, and then everybody says, you know what, nobody's really coming, and it doesn't make sense to have this event. But like, how else would we back out? What would be another scenario if we send everything out and then we don't do it? What?
Well, no, that's the only scenario. If we don't have
Okay.
If there's only 10 people there,
Yeah.
what? But the fact is, we got to get something out there. I don't remember when we put out our first mailings years ago. I've slept since then, but the sooner the better we get something out there.
I agree. So I think it was Joanne who had sent around membership prices from the past. Are we doing is going to the reunion a separate price from the membership, or is it all together kind of price?
No, the attendance of the reunion and lunch for the reunion, it's not really attendance. You could attend the reunion, it didn't cost anything, but lunch was a certain price, and then there was a certain price for the annual donation.
Okay.
And I think the last time, it was $20 a family, 10 individual, I believe. I'm not positive.
My thought on that is I like those pricings even today, except I would do $25 per family, because if you have a family of 2 adults, that's the same price as if you have a family of 2 adults and 2 children under the age. So I think it should be a little bit more if you have children. So like I would just up the $20 to $25 if you're a family, and then I like that $10 per adult. That was just my opinion.
Conrad, do you remember if we had the family price, if we had as long as the kids were like 17 and under? I don't remember.
I think we probably did, but I couldn't swear to that either.
Okay,
I think,
I'd have to look.
yeah, I mean, a family, say $25, that would include everybody, no matter what the age. So, the other $10 would be an adult.
So I have a question, Conrad. Let's use my family as an example. I have one son who's 21 and I have one son that is 18. They're both dependents in my family. So, but I would not consider them in my family. I would consider them adults because my youngest is 18. So for the membership in my family, I would say that we should pay $40, $10 per adult. Is that kind of how everybody else is understanding this? Or would you say because they're dependents on our family that we would pay like $25 as a family?
Well, my opinion is if he's 18 and above, he's an adult,
Yeah.
I would consider it that way.
I mean, it's not a lot of money. It's $10 per adult. I mean, we're not saying $50 per adult.
Right. And, we're not going to get a lot of families with little ones anyway, I'm sure. We've tried different things over the many years, and it just didn't work out. You had maybe a half a dozen families at best that would bring little ones, and so, we don't really worry about the little ones, Number one, they don't eat much if it comes down to paying for the food, So,
Yeah, but this would be a different charge, right?
Yeah.
So like say we say $15 per person for the food, and then essentially each person would also be $10 for a membership. So that would be about $25. Am I understanding? Like, is everybody agreeing with what I'm kind of like thinking? And I don't really think $25 per person on average is a lot to be asking for a person to come to a family reunion.
no,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, no, I agree. It's not a lot for some. But I know I also worked on reunions for my high school reunion. And even when people as late as a few years ago, and of course it's been a lot of years I graduated, they were still balking at the cost of coming, for $50 or so for 2 people, they would even complain. I said, you know what, at this point in our lives, if they don't want to spend that money, well, then don't come,
Yeah.
But
I really think that's, I mean, like for my family, it would be $100. But even so, I'm like, and I'm a cheapskate. Our family's cheapskates. But what you're getting for that $100, I think, like you said, Conrad, like if it doesn't matter to you and you don't really care, then just don't come. Don't spend that money. But if you want to be involved, that's really not asking a lot from people.
Keep in
I
mind,
don't know. What do you think, Sharon?
keep in mind though that these are just voluntary voluntary donations. That's the bottom
Right.
line. And
Right.
you can't really hold people to them, so to speak. It's just a request for a little bit of extra money so that the
Right.
family can meet budgetary kinds of things and that sort of thing. So that's all it really is. And the bottom line is you want people to show up, period.
Right.
And you don't and you don't want an extra $10 or $25. You don't want that to prohibit them. You want people to show up. That's the most important thing.
So what we can do, like I've seen on some invitations, I'm not sure, maybe this was on past invitations and I didn't see it. What we could do is we can add on to the invitation that if you would like to attend, but financial circumstances are making this difficult, please contact so-and-so or email and use the email address. So that way, if we find that there's a family that really wants to come and really wants to participate and somehow the finances are not allowing them to, maybe we can have somebody sponsor them so that their family can come. So that we're not like saying, absolutely you can't come unless you fork over this money. We're saying, reach out to this email address if financial considerations need to be made or something like that.
So I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I think that creates a real problem because I see a lot of pride in this family and people are not going to go asking for a handout. They'll just not go. So I agree with Richard that we want to get the people there. I think if we start pricing this thing to the point where it starts looking like it's going to be $100 for a family of 4, we're going to have half a dozen people there. And I don't want to see that. I'd rather see people come, even the people who are close by, who historically, when the reunions I've gone to, it's the local folks that don't show up at these reunions that are family members because, well, I see them at church every Sunday, or I'd meet them in the Sam's, and so it's not like they think they've seen everybody in their entire world in their little community, and all of a sudden you get people from out of town that you haven't seen or met in 50 years, and it's kind of fun to see that. So
it's
I hope
an
we don't
invasion.
price ourselves out of this.
So
It's an invasion.
What would you say, Peter? Like, would you say on the invitation, it's $15 to come to the reunion and a suggested membership donation of $10 per adult?
I would rather offer this. I'll pay for the food and all the cost of it and the church, and you can put on a voluntary free love will offering if you so desire.
Yeah, Peter, I agree with you. I think because of so much time lapsing and everything, we just want people there. We really have no bills we have to pay, so to speak, other than meeting the church obligation and that. And I really think we should just forego the cost of joining the family, so to speak. At this point, it's necessary because we're not planning on doing anything major like donations or anything like that. I would just think we should just plan it small and forget about the membership. We can always talk about that later down the road. Let's just see what participation we get at this point.
All right.
Is there going to be a cost for the Whitfield house?
No, you can just throw a couple dollars in the cookie jar in there.
Well, that's not what they told us when we went there.
Well, I know.
Remember, Conrad?
Yeah. Well,
you could go downstairs, but
I am a member, so I don't have to pay to get in there. But they do like a $10 or $15 donation per head to go in there. Yeah.
Right.
That's something new, actually. We never did that in the past. There's new management in there with Whitfield House, and they're trying to raise some funds in there.
All right. So thank you, Peter. Thank you, Conrad.
I was gonna say, if we go as a family to the Whitfield house, we can always, make a check from the treasury saying, here's a donation for all the Clewells that passed through your door today.
Yeah.
Because I think we've done that in the past.
Yeah.
So I think this is a go because of Peter's generosity and Conrad's generosity. And so what I would need is I would like if somebody can send me a past invitation or two so that I can create something.
Can you let me share screen?
Excuse me, what?
Can you let me screen share?
Go for it.
What I would be hoping to do is to update the document with current information and then share it with everybody.
You have it disabled, Rich.
Have what?
You have the screen share disabled. I can't screen share.
And what I would also need to know is who or what am I putting the return address to, so that the money that anybody might send in and all of the return envelopes go to the correct person.
Okay, hang on one second, guys. Here is, can you see my screen?
No.
It's starting.
Yeah. That's
Can you see it
starting.
now?
There it
Yes.
is.
Yep.
Okay. Now this is from 1903 and 1907, but these are postcards that they sent out back in the day. Here you can see this one was the actual first reunion. That gives, information. I mean, if you want to do something like this, or if you want to do actually something now, we used to actually do a letter. Oh, let me see if I can find one of those letters. Past reunion.
I love the 30 cents.
Yeah, gotta love it back then.
For
Yeah.
the luncheon, yeah. You
No,
can't
it's
even
like
put
The
it-
church ladies did the luncheon for 20 cents.
Yeah. Notice the electric cars will run.
Yeah,
We're back to electric cars, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now here's, let me see if this is the right one I want to pull up. Or I share it. No, that's not it. It's not the one I wanted. Oh, there it is. Duh. New share. This is a sample of a letter that we would send out. Can you guys see? What we would send out,
That's the first one that our family went to.
Huh?
This is the first one that our family went to. Because the first,
2005.
I didn't remember the year, but I knew it was the 75th.
Right. But yep. And it was just a basic letter, talked about. Now we did a 3-day event that year. We had a Friday night wine and cheese event. Then we had the trip to Gettysburg on Saturday. And then we had, everyone was invited to join the congregation at Shennick for church. And then we had luncheon afterward. And you can see where, here's, I think this is $10. This was the cost of the luncheon for Sunday that was catered. And then I think there's usually, yeah, there it is. at the bottom of the letter, there was like a little thing that, you know, they could put off and send in, and they could check, you know, I'm sending in dues, I'm sending in monies for, you know, whatever. You know, if it's the luncheon, but now like you're talking about just doing the picnic lunch. I mean, this can be easily changed and said, you know, July 31st, Saturday's picnic, adult is going to be X, children X, you know, under 5 free, of course. And then, you know, all this other due stuff can be removed. That's easily done.
Yeah. Can you email that to me, Joanne?
Sure, and you can modify it. I mean, I don't mind being the if you want. I know most people, if they're still out there alive, don't recognize that address.
You're echoing a lot.
Well,
It's hard for me
because Richard. I mean, if Richard would mute, then I don't think you're gonna echo. Because we're in the same. He's at home. He's at home this weekend. He's not on the road. Do I echo now?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because it's coming through his. Yeah, I don't mind necessarily being the point person. I do have, if you want, Donna, somewhere in my wealth of things, I do have a Word document that does have it has, my Word document has return address labels with an actual little blurb that John gave me, because John used to work at the post office for years, and he says if you put this on, it's something about temp return, then we'll get the ones that, you know, forward address expired. If you don't have that certain line on the return, they wouldn't necessarily return, you know, so that we wouldn't get back the stuff that was undeliverable.
Okay, yeah, if you could share that, I'd love that.
Yeah, I just have to find it, but there is a little thing that I remember having to put on the return address labels that John said, and he said, then this way, if they can't deliver it, they'll return it to us and let us know if there's a forwarding address or whatever.
Right. Awesome.
I think the postage is going to be the most expensive process we have to go through.
What is it up to right now per mailing? Is it 59 cents?
Hey Google, what is postage nowadays?
Is it 58?
58.
58. All right.
I just bought some this week.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
58. Because I remember when we would do our mailings, I think Mom got at least 3 rolls of 100
Yeah.
stamps.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'm going to try to
mute yourself, Rich.
I'm going to try to like get as many email addresses as I possibly can, you know, but it will be like 2 or 3 rolls of 100. There's no way around it, you know?
That's assuming that you don't pay for the return postage.
No, you don't have to pay. Like if it's, they just return it undeliverable. And they don't charge you for returning it to you undeliverable. I think they want to get rid of it because if they can't deliver it, then they can't destroy it. They have to keep it. And I don't think the post office wants to do that. So they'll send it back. But I think Joanne's probably right that there's a certain wording that will ensure that we get it back. You know, they might be like, oh, well, you know, let's throw it in this pile of undeliverables.
So Joanne and Donna, one of the things that I think we have to add to that 2005 letter is to make sure that we have a email address on there for the Clewell family, and whether it's Richard's one that he uses, or if it's something so that maybe we can get these people to either be able to give us a text phone number or an email address or some sort of electronic communication so we can eliminate having to buy the snail mail.
Yes, I agree. Richard, should I use that? Was it my Clewell? Is it my Clewell? Your
My Clewell's?
email address? What is
Sure,
it?
that's-
What?
My Clewells,
Uh-huh.
MyClewells @gmail.com.
I mean, like, I don't mind getting all those email things and keeping the list up to date, but I kind of feel like it would be better to have like that email address than to send it, say, to me or whatever, like to somebody personally. I think it's more professional and I think people would rather do that. But if you want, what you could do is if they are sending information about their phone number or address or email address, you can forward it to me. I'm not saying that you have to then, keep the list up to date. I can certainly keep the list up to date if you just want to forward it to me.
That's easily done. Sure.
Okay.
Or it's easy to create another email address if you want. I mean, just whatever the Clewell family @Gmail or whatever. It makes no difference. It's very easy.
Well, I don't know. Like, do you want to create? That is another option. Do we think we want to create an email address just for the family reunion? Like maybe call it Clewell Family Reunion @gmail.com. Do you think that would be more advantageous or more confusing?
I think it might be more confusing.
It can always be done later, but let's try and keep this thing simple as much as we can.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
just keep it to myclewells @gmail.com.
Okay. Yeah.
For now. We can always change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
This is the temp return service requested is what John told me I had to add to, which I can send this file to you also, Donna. This is
Yes.
already,
I would.
all you have to do is print out labels.
Yep.
Since it's
Not a
2005,
problem.
that's 17 years ago, can we also check with the post office to make sure this service is still there?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably is. I mean, John worked for the post office for years. I don't know if they would change that, but you never know. They could.
I could definitely, before I'm printing off, hundreds of labels, I'll make sure that the terminology is the most up-to-date terminology. I have a feeling that they do it anyway, but I think that having it on there kind of ensures it. Just like some bills that you might get, it says return requested. If like they're making sure that bill got to you, and if it didn't, they want it back. So I think there's still something like that in place.
I'm sure there is.
Great. Is there anything else? Have we determined that, yes, we are going to have a reunion? Don't everybody
Raise
speak
your
up.
hand. Aye. Those who say aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Any nays? Any nays?
I don't hear any nays yet. Donna, do you want to put a kind of a feeler out there on Facebook? Just letting people know we're going to have a reunion and more details are coming up. What is it? Saturday the 30th? Set that date apart.
Yep. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to ask in that email, please send me your email address. So I'm going to be like going crazy.
I don't think there's, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think there's going to be all that much response. A little here, a little there. I suspect you're not going to get more than 20 people to respond. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's 500, but.
No, not 500, but I think it'll be more than 20, but I'll have to do a little poking at people too.
Don't hurt them.
So Donna, you said you had email addresses of like 30 people or so. I think that you should probably send out an email to those that group of people and say, hey, this is our plans. We're trying to see if the family wants to get together and
Yep. I agree. Yep.
Donna, I'll send you the 30 some that I have, so you have a copy of that.
Yeah, that'd be good. I was like comparing it to my list, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm sending it to everybody. And I did. So I think a couple of people got multiple inquiries about would they come. But I got some people who were like, this is my address, this is my phone number, just off of that. So it was good that I sent that out about, hey, would you be interested in going to a reunion and stuff like that?
Okay.
Great. Is there anything else? Again,
can we go on to a different subject? Are we ready to go on a different subject? Anybody think there's anything more that needs to be discussed about the reunion?
I think we discussed as much of the reunion as we can for now. I don't want to take too much more time. We've already been talking for about an hour now. What else do you have in mind, Donna?
Well, I went back on the website and I got the same thing, even with the new updated password. I can only see, if I try to do edit, it says you have no permissions to do edit. When I go onto the page, it says that, this page is unavailable at this time. So I have no way that I know of.
Donna, are you talking about Facebook?
No, I'm talking about the Clewell webpage.
Oh, the website.
Were you able to get on it? Were you able to see it?
I didn't try it, but are you talking about the one that Richard put out a couple of months ago? Okay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, I haven't been on it recently.
Yeah, I was trying to see, all the things that Richard had shown us that he hasn't launched it yet, but, to see behind the scenes, and he sent us all like passwords and stuff. And I went on it, and my son, who's a software engineer, by the way, he just won a Department of Defense Smart Scholarship. So,
wow.
Congratulations.
So, and he is the Clewell. And he's in software engineering. But anyway, he looked at the same thing that I was looking at, and he said, no, you can't get onto the website. So Richard went and reset me the password, reset me so I could go back on again. And I tried to push a couple of other places that I haven't gone on, and it wouldn't show me anything that I didn't see last time. So I could be doing it wrong, but my son, who's the software engineer, was like, no, you don't have access to see what the website looks like. Like he was seeing the same thing as me. So Richard, I was trying to get him involved sneakily. So that, I mean, he's the software engineer. So hopefully I can get him to do stuff for you. But this is not Jared. This is my younger son, Christian. But I couldn't figure it out.
Okay. First of all, no one has permission to do any editing. So you talked about
Yeah.
that. Nobody has that permission. And there are a couple of the pages that are not available. But you should have had like the week that I showed everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
I forget where it said that, I forget what the pictures are, but it says not available. You should have been able to see that.
Nope.
Like the genealogy, you should have said the genealogy. Were you able to get to the home page?
No. All I got was, this page is under construction sign.
Oh, is that okay? The page that says, yeah, okay. Was there like a great big watch, a pocket watch?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then you should have gotten behind that. I don't know what the problem is. I
I don't
resend
know
it.
either. Well, unless I know what I'm supposed to click on. I was clicking on every single thing that I could think of, and it nothing got me into the website.
okay. Conrad, were you able to get onto the website?
I actually haven't tried for a while. Initially,
Okay.
I logged on to it just to look at it.
Right.
And I got that far, but I haven't looked at it in weeks, so I don't know.
Okay. I was just wondering if everyone's having the same problem or if it's just Donna. So that's why I was curious.
I missed the week, I think, where you talked about the website. I missed
Okay.
that. So
All right.
I haven't done it because I don't know what to do.
Okay. Because there's a special invitation that I have to send to those individuals, and I'll try to get you send you an invitation to that as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'm just not sure, Donna, just what the problem is. You should have been able to have access to it and been able to see everything
Yes.
like I showed you that one
Yeah.
day. I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, I tried different things like each time, and I pressed everything that I
Right.
could press to get there, and I wasn't like, it brings me up to, when I do my password, it brings me up to this page that says my name, and it has a whole bunch of color selections. So I can change, I guess, something to do with me or whatever. But I
Yeah.
know that's not what I want to do. I want to
Right.
see what the website looks like.
Right.
And the only place I can go is to that stopwatch or whatever place that says, that's the only
Under construction.
place I can go. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. I'll have to pursue that. Anything else that needs to be talked about? Anything else that needs to be brought up? Going once, going twice. So, Joanne, you're going to send Donna a bunch of addresses. Is that correct? Is that what I understand? Unmute
I am
yourself.
sending her a copy of the 2005 Clewell letter template of what we did, so she can edit it and what she needs to do to, let them know what's going on for this year. And I'm also sending her a file that has the return address labels with the temp return request.
Okay. Anything else?
So I just thought of a question. So I am not going to produce the invitation until I get everybody to kind of say, yes, that's what we want to send out there. So how should I do this? I don't even know if I'm available in 2 weeks, like the week after Easter. I'm not sure. I think I said I wasn't. Yeah, I think I said I wasn't. So should I just email it to everyone like who's interested and we discuss this by email or what? Because like I totally agree with Conrad that this should go out as soon as possible. So, but I don't want to just send out a letter and somebody had this fantastic idea of something to include, or maybe I screwed up the terminology and somebody's like, no, don't say that. And then I just sent it out to hundreds of people.
I think the answer to the question is, if you have Google, do you have Google Drive?
Yes.
You can put a letter on Google Drive and invite a bunch of people to proofread it and check it out. And then shortly thereafter, you can send it out. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody?
I think that's a great idea to get it edited.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
By the way, John wanted to be here and he couldn't make it. And I just have a blank on her name. Gwen. I'm sorry, Gwen. When I contacted her, she said, "This is the night before I'm taking my trip over to Italy, so I'm not going to be there." So she's on her way to Italy right now, or she may have already landed in Italy right now. So she sends her best, but unfortunately, she was not able to join us as well. So we might have had a
That's
few more.
exciting.
Hope she has a good trip. I just heard the BA2 variant is going crazy through Europe.
Oh dear.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Let's hope they keep it there.
Yeah,
she doesn't bring it back with her.
Yeah,
that's
really.
right.
Anything
So
else?
hopefully she doesn't. All right.
Anything else?
Sounds
When do you
good.
want to meet again? About 2 weeks?
Oh, hold on.
That'll be the Sunday after Easter. Next Sunday is Easter. We will make it 3 weeks.
Okay. Oh, okay. The 24th, I'm okay with. Hold it. Yeah. I am okay with the 24th. I'm not okay with the 1st. But that's just me.
So I have something on the 24th,
Okay.
but you guys go ahead and have the meeting. And if we get the Google Drive thing out there, go forward with it. I might. When you put the emails out on the Google Drive, make sure you don't close or blind copy it so that we can reply to everybody any thoughts. Because what I'm going to go do is I've got a friend who's in the culinary arts business, and I'm going to ask her how many pounds of cabbages and cauliflower or baked beans and that sort of stuff you would need to have a picnic, and see if she can give us some better rules for how many pounds of stuff for 50 people.
Yeah.
But if I can get that by the in a couple of days, I'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share it using everybody's email address.
Excellent.
And because I'm thinking, what does everybody think? I think if we all do it that way, then what you could do is you can edit it as yourself, so we can see everybody's edits. Like Richard thinks there should be a "the" here or something like that. And then we're all seeing all the changes and stuff. And you can also comment on the side saying, oh, I like this way better, like, Peter's way of saying this better than Donna's way of saying it, or whatever you want to say. So, so I don't think we have to worry about sharing email addresses. We can all edit the document.
Okay.
As long as you set it up for that. Yep.
Yes.
So,
Good.
So
All
should
right.
I include John Vital on that? Like, will somebody tell him that's why I'm sending it to him? I don't want him to be like, who the heck is Donna and why is she sending me this?
oh, he knows. He knows. If you have John's email address, which
I do
guessing
now.
that you do, yeah,
I stole
you
it.
can you can just send him a message about that. That's fine. And John is not the most technologically savvy individual, so he might be a little bit on the skittish kind of side. So he may be able to respond, he may not. But
so I'm gonna send it to John Vital, Richard, Sharon, Peter, Joanne, Conrad. Am I sending it to anybody else who we think we should send it to?
I think
No,
that's
just keep it to a few.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's enough. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
A question, it's a personal question, in the sense that I don't know, Richard, whether it should go to you or Joanne, but early on, someone talked about still having copies of the Clewell history, volume 1 or volume 2, that we could purchase. Is that still the case?
I think the answer to that is yes. Unfortunately, my sister has stepped out, so I can't
Well,
I can't
that's
answer
okay.
that.
Well, how about if I just email you and you can let me know whether or not we still have any and which volume it is and what the cost is.
Okay, Joanne, are there any more volume 1s or volume 2s available? Sharon is asking.
My puppy had to go out. I do have some volume 2s. I have to double check how many I have. And there are some volume 1s. Now the volume 1s are older volume 1s, like from the original printing. But there might be 1 or 2 from the reprint when they did it in the late 70s. But I'd have to double check for sure exactly how many I have here.
And what would be the cost of each volume?
I don't know. Do you remember what we sold them for, Conrad? Was it like 20 or 25?
I think it was in 20 or 25 when I first purchased mine. But that was such a long time ago. I can't remember anything anymore.
Yeah, it was the late 70s. I was 13, 14.
Well, how
I
about
don't
if I just
remember
send
either.
an email, Richard, and then somebody can answer, Joanne can answer me what the details are, because then if I get up there, I'm hoping to come, I could pick some up at the reunion.
How many are you looking for?
Well, I have 2 grandchildren, and I think I would like the 2 grandchildren to each have a volume of their ancestry. So
That's very nice.
so I'd be interested in 2 of each volume if we have them. I don't remember what volume I have, if my volume 1 is the first printing or the second printing. I don't know. I'll have to go look.
Yeah, I'd have to physically see the print in that to be able to let you know if it's a volume, if it's an original, or if it's.
I'll check the front. Sometimes in the front of the book, it'll say whether this is the second printing.
Right.
So I'll check that. Anyway, I'll deal with this on email, but yes, I would definitely, I'm interested in 2 volumes of 1 and 2 volumes of 2. Oh,
Sometimes they're available online on eBay, but I just did a search, Sharon, and I'm not seeing any real volumes. It's only the copy that was made when the volume 1 got when it is now out of copyrighted.
okay.
So some organization made their own copy of volume 1 when the copyright expired, and I hear through the grapevine that it's not a very good copy. But sometimes a real one, like the one that Joanne has copies of, does pop up on eBay.
Okay, well, like I said, I'll do this through email. And, you know, we can work something out how I can get them, because I don't want them shipped. You know, talking about postage, even book postage is expensive these days. So, I mean, I come up that way to Bethlehem. So, you know, I could come up that way and pick some up too, but we'll see. We'll work it out.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Because I don't want to drag things out too much.
Oh,
Right.
Conrad, there's Conrad on eBay. There's a vintage Clewell snaker bite antique fishing lure, like the one that you had.
Snaker
30,
bait.
$34.75.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
$34?
$34.75. There's 7 bids. It's an RC1. I don't know what that means.
What site was it on?
eBay.
Oh, just on eBay. Okay.
Yeah, they're bidding on it. There's 7 days and 4 hours left on it.
Okay.
That
I'll
thing
keep an
could go,
eye on it.
that thing could go up to $500, $600, $700
It-
depending on the
It
condition.
could.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could. I don't know the condition. It looks pretty good, but
Well, yeah, I don't have one personally, but we have some there in the cool possession, you know.
Right.
oh, I thought that one was yours. Was that
No.
yours, Richard?
Well, I don't know if it's
Joanne has
mine,
them
but
in
it
our possession.
belongs to the family. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody from out there sent them in to us years ago.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else before we meet in 2 weeks? If not,
Good for me.
I'm going to say farewell. Thank you very much, one and all. Good to talk.
Thank
Good to
you.
chat with everybody. And we will see you in
Take
about
care.
2 weeks.
Excellent.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long.